Thank you for joining us on Law and You for this week. We are Mofwegbe. On this week on the program, we want to look at the wheel of justice and then the factors, or if you like, parameters, by which we can measure whether or not justice has been done in a matter. First off, we have those who are not comfortable with the, as it were, court system because they feel they are not guaranteed justice. That's on the one hand. Then you have those who feel, well, justice may be guaranteed ultimately. However, in the meantime, the wheel turns too slow. Therefore, they resort to, in most cases, sadly so, self-help. All right. So how do we determine whether or not justice has been done in a matter? Can it be flat out? Can it be universal? Because at some point you have those who feel, well, justice has been done for them or to them because the case has actually turned out in their favor, and you have those who feel because, as it were, they have lost, justice hasn't been done. Do we have any circumstance under which you can say, well, we are all on that on the same page now, and as such you can say justice has been done? So what is the benchmark by which we can determine whether or not justice has been done in the matter? A lawyer is on the program this week and he will help us determine how we can figure this out. Stay with me. Dr. Patrick Awosage is a legal practitioner and he's joining us on the program again this week. Thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure. Hello, viewers at home. Thank you.
As they say, I know you have lost some, you have won some, right?
Absolutely.
As a lawyer, for example, how would you define justice itself?
Justice, obviously, it's the outcome of you going to court to seek redress. Is the outcome or your expectation in respect of what you anticipate with regards to the fact that your rights have been trampled on. You expect the court to look into the gray areas that may have affected you, and you are expecting the court to serve justice. Justice in that sense, it's like a payback, a compensation of sorts, to someone whose rights have been trampled on. You can't just get whipped by a policeman on the road and then you didn't fight him back because he had a gun. But there are mechanisms, there are instruments of law that could bring him to court under the platform of, fundamental rights being trampled on, and it's all depending on how you so desire to go about it. And you have to take some time to get the lawyers to look and study the case properly and also know the appropriate laws. It's one thing to have a matter, and then it's another thing to know the laws that synchronizes with what you have or you are going through. So if you're citing or getting a law that does not really add up or that does not connect with that, you are bound not to get justice in that sense. And one will not blame you, they may blame the legal team that may have done that job. They may not have done a serious or a very careful research on it. So that is where we could say where justice have not been served the way we so desire. So it's not a one-way thing. It's easy to blame the judges or the magistrates or area court presidents or Supreme Court justices, as the case may be. It's easy to blame them because you believe they preside over the matters before them. But unknown to you, on the other hand, at times lawyers could be negligent. They may not have done enough research. Some of them may not have done the needful, and then they come to court and also come in expecting justice to be served. The court is not a magician or not Father Christmas, as the case may be. They will give to you based on what you have come or you apply to court. The court, although in some circumstances the court could, we say in the relief, as I said, every other circumstances that the court may deem necessary in the circumstance that the court may deem fit to add.
At the discretion of
at the discretion of the court. You cannot be hanging on the discretion when you have left the substantial aspect of your prayers. You've not done the needful, or maybe you've been unable to weave through, because it's all about being skillful. It's all about being legally carried and knowing the right things to do part time. I think that is how it runs.
You look at society today, for example. When people win, when they get justice in a matter, for example, say the case has wound up in their favor. You hear them say, the judiciary is the
It's
last
working.
hope of the common man. And then they
have
salute
absolute
the judge, they
confidence
salute the courts, they salute
for
the
having the
council.
courage.
Yeah, exactly, to deliver this kind of landmark judgments, right? And then when there's a flip to it, maybe they are the ones who have not, so to speak, been favored by the justice system, and you hear things like, well, we are very disappointed in this matter. In fact, you had expected that
already filing appeals.
Exactly.
You know, we're already going on.
Yes, if I was studying the judgment,
obviously,
and so on and so forth. What are the parameters by which you can determine whether justice has been done? I mean, regardless of who is excited and throwing a party, or who is crying and wailing and biting their fingers.
Like, you is subject to appeal. You know, the fact that you've won in a trial court does not automatically mean the other party don't have right to contest the judgment. So you can contest that on the appellate courts to Supreme Court subsequently. It's who wins at the final Supreme Court that will not say, yes, it's a settled judgment already. It becomes an authority that anybody can look into. But again, looking at we're talking about how do we measure justice. Now, the judge who sits to preside, first and foremost, is a lawyer and is going by the legal rules and ethics and all the laws that is available to courts or to us, to the citizens, so as to put them together. There is a matter, for instance, of rape. Let me just try to
paint a scenario,
because I think that would make more sense. A young girl has been alleged to have been raped, and everybody is shouting, you know, this man did this.
You must bring the
perpetrators, and you've arrested, you've done your petition, and the police in good faith have charged the matter to court. Now, upon getting to court, the court will not just say, yes, you really raped this person. The court is going to examine where are the experts' opinion. If you have been raped, ordinarily you should have gone to see a doctor. And then let's ascertain. Let the expert come and say, or tell us the findings in this, and why that expert come. Maybe she was raped on let's say on a Sunday, and then she went to the hospital on Thursday, and then you are coming up at that instant time when it happened. She was supposed to go to the hospital for medical check and examination. Okay, where are the bruises on your body? Maybe no bruise or nothing, or there are no concrete evidence that could nail the perpetrator, even in the sense that the guy actually did it. But since the court can't find a way, because the court will not be going about whether he did or not, they're going strictly by what is before court. So that is the challenge. That's why many times people are confused. So, but it's obvious that the court did it. This very well that the person did what he did, and even admitted at the police station, and they can come back to court and say, well, he was under duress. That's the
that's why we're going to have a trial within trial.
A trial within trial will be conducted, obviously, to ascertain all of that. But that alone is not enough to sustain the matter in that regard, because in a criminal charge, it's beyond all reasonable doubts.
Ultimately.
So whatever you are alleging, you must prove it beyond all reasonable doubts. So in a case whereby you are unable to prove that, and the matter fails in court, they blame the judges, they blame the police, which is obviously the first to get the whip. They have collected money. Unfortunately, your matter may not have been strong enough. You didn't do the groundwork most of the time. I think this is how it goes on. The man that once said, thank God, God has vindicated me. Actually, you did what was wrong. But some way, somehow, you are left off the hook because nobody or whoever, those that were saddled with the responsibility, like the investigating team, vis-a-vis those that went to court, the prosecution, did not do a thorough work. And they did not go well enough, and they know these are things you cannot joke with. And when it fails in court, so you won't blame the judge. You blame it's on the negligence on the part of the prosecuting team, and now the victim go home unhappy. But even at that, you could still find ways, because everything rise and fall on the law. If you feel there's something more you need to talk about, because criminal charges is forever issue. It's a lifetime charge that could be. It's a lifetime offense that could be justiciable at any given time. If you have further things to tell your investigating team, go ahead. And again, we must a little bit digress from that. Some persons lie a lot in the course of this. Maybe the young lady did not actually, she was not raped.
Yeah.
She said she was. Maybe because issues issue between both parties, and they say I will deal with you or something in that light, and she lied in the course of time.
Just to rope the
gentleman in. But everyone say fine, because the gentleman is unable to defend himself. He lacked the financial
and rape is extremely sensitive.
Now, and she's crying, you know, to bamboozle the court, and then the lawyers are there to help her, to pat her on the back, and he that didn't do it, he's there now standing alone, unable to defend himself, because first and foremost he couldn't get the lawyers to do that, and even if he's getting a pro bono lawyer, so to speak, and you know, it's something you are doing voluntarily, it's a different ball game. I'm talking about, I know, yeah, pro bono services are everywhere. Lawyers could say, I'll take it up for you, but it's not, it's a different ball game for what someone is paid for. So he could just do it the way he's so rich. It's a spare time services rendering. So at that instance, the guy gets hooked, and then he said, well, see what has happened. And now judgment or justice have not been served. The young lady have been upheld, and I'm going to prison, or I'm going to do this for what I didn't do. My God will be my judge. You see, things like that. You must understand, when you are before court, you are before a system. You are not before an individual. So you must be careful from your statement as an individual who goes to the police than to the court. You must know the lawyer. You will not know, whoever is not a lawyer will not know all that you need to do. Get lawyers that are diligent. And again, how do you know? You must check their track records too. You don't just get on and say, well,
prior convictions,
you know, how this person's been. Check to know. At least, besides, we don't advertise. We don't advertise ourselves as by what you have seen them do. By their fruits, the Bible says you shall know them. And you know, these guys have been in this game for so long, and they have been able to do this and that. At least you will get the best of representation and prosecution, as the case may be, in terms of criminal trials. Now, in a situation maybe like a civil matter, like a piece of land, you know, causing some imbroglio, and people are contending over the owner of the said land. And then you say, well, I bought it SY time and this. What documents do you have? Well, I have an OBA approval that was given to me by the said community. And now somebody said, well, I have a CFO and a whole lot of complication. Now, again, truth is very important. You must tell your lawyer the truth. Some persons don't tell the truth. I was in court a few days ago, and the lawyer came out so sad. And prior to the time he came out of court, and the ladies were talking, I heard them talking. You know, that lawyer not even know he work. He couldn't even do anything. He was just standing there doing nothing. And I don't tire. She was complaining. So I was wondering, what kind of lawyer will not be diligent in this? The way this lady, I was almost swept off to sympathize with her, but I didn't interfere or interlope into what she was saying until the lawyer came out. And when he came out, and I said, Madam, why not they lie like this? He was, and I said, is this how you people lie? You didn't tell me the truth. And she kept quiet. The same person who was accusing
just a while ago.
I almost got in bed. I said, well, I don't need to, because that would be too bad for her, for the lawyer to get to know all she said up in the show. That's what we are talking about. So when you mislead your counsel, he's going there based on what you have told him, and that's what he's going to try to sustain in court. In the course of cross-examination and re-examination, the examination in chief and all of these things, the truth will start jumping out gradually. And when that comes out, the lawyer will look like, wow, I didn't know all of this. And he's shocked. That's exactly what she saw. So we must know that we, both the you know, what do you call the litigants, the lawyer, the investigators, the police, whoever, the witnesses and all should be well guided and do the needful before you now come to the table of the judge. The judge will not descend. And again, if the judge is an impartial arbiter, is sitting to view the facts before court and check evidences with the law and make a pronouncement. And again, they say, well, it's too slow. It's too slow. You don't expect a complicated matter to be addressed in that light.
I'm going to ask you about the will, the speed at which it toils. That will be after we take this quick break.
All right.
We're back shortly to expand the conversation a bit more. Stay with me. So I was going to ask you something about the, as it were, the justice system.
Yes.
All right. As it stands today, how many Nigerians really understand how the justice system works? Because that's a factor. You are a lawyer, for example.
Yes.
You are enlightened. You are read. You are learned about these issues. But
Yes.
not every one of us you see on the street every day has this latest idea how this whole system works.
That's true.
How do we separate emotions from facts?
Now, you see, I had a young man shouting that he's a Nigerian. He knows the law. That no police can molest him.
I know my rights.
I know my right. And I expected him for his age. He's a graduate, and you don't need to be a lawyer to have the basic understanding about what a citizen should know. The Constitution, and in traffic, you see them hawking, those young men that sell in traffic.
Yeah.
They're selling it for 1,000 naira. Somebody would rather take 1,000, 1,500, as the case may be. Somebody would prefer to buy donuts, cheese or something to eat, other than we say, why would I waste my money on things like this? People, I will just buy, we are not cultured that way. I think that's a major challenge. Okay, let's say you don't have the money. You have data on your phone. You can download the Constitution and start reading it. People don't want to take responsibility for their lives, and that is the problem. And when they don't do that, they start blaming it on the system. You are a part of the system. You are a part of the problem. You should know. No policeman will assault you for no just cause. And even if that happened, if you know your right and your way around what it is, you know what to say, so that you don't complicate issues for yourself. And that's the point I'm trying to make. So we keep talking about a lot of us don't know. Yes, that's the truth. It was Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory that said you keep information in the deep part of the sea, whatever it is, the black man will find it. Put it in the sky everywhere, they will crack into any software, they will break it, and he said, but hide it in books. They will not read it because it's very difficult for a black man to start going to books. But I don't want to absolutely believe that. It's not about a black man, it's a mindset.
Right.
I think we should have this mentality, not that we are reading for exams. Which could you go to the library and read? We should read books and go around. Go to the court premises. It's for everybody. The court, he said the High Court, Benin Division. He's holding in Benin. It's Benin here. So it's your court. It's not until you have a matter you rush there. You could go ask questions. Once in a while, you could sit in the court to hear.
Listen to proceedings.
Listen to proceedings. Nobody will say, get out of the court. So long you are not disturbing, your phone is not disturbing, you can sit down and hear. So I think that is wisdom. You don't have to wait until I have a problem. I start rushing around. Then I don't know what to do. I think that's a majority of our people don't know anything about the law. And that's so sad. So why will you not allege injustice? How will you not allege that your right is being trampled on when you don't even know what the right is?
Yeah.
I think that is basically it. Now, in terms of you were asking about the
wheel
of justice.
Yeah, it turns really slow. That's a problem, isn't it?
Yes. Now, you must understand, if you want to compare us with other climes, I think that's basically the basis for slow justice, as it were. I remember Senator Ben Bruce, in his Common Sense series, he was talking about a South African who perpetrated an act of theft on a Nigerian or whatever he did. I can't remember whether it's a theft act or he shot him or something. He said within 72 hours, all investigation was settled and it was already in court and matters were already there. He said here he was comparing it to some acts that may have transpired, that it has gone on for years and it's been on, we are still trying to get to it. We are still on the investigation level. And then he said, what are we talking about? That's part of what we're talking about. Yeah. Now, it's a systemic problem. Now, when we don't have a good digital system that runs this thing, we are cut off. You still rely on pencil, paper, writing and all whatnot. No gadgets, shorthand, make at the right hand they go or stuff like that. And you're recording, good gadgets. You go around, the police is using his phone to check, and then a whole lot of funny transaction around that aspect. And then you don't expect the best from that kind of situation. Okay, is it when the judge is trying to write and then calm down, talk quietly. It's okay. So the court is writing. You keep watching. Somebody is giving evidence, and it should flow.
Right.
Ordinarily, I would have advocated, like in the early time, I think it was there before, that it records what they are saying. The judge is not going to give judgments that day. But the judge is saddled with the responsibility of writing. And when the court is not carried, then Please, the lawyer must say, please be cautioned. Take it easy. We are writing, the court is writing. So that one in itself slower down. You see, imagine a judge sitting. I commend them. I don't know how they are performing that miracle. Sitting down and taking notes consistently every other day, and then you are going to sit down again, and while you are reading through, you are going to take notes again.
Right.
And then you do that for all the cases. For crying out loud, they are human. And how do you expect them to do it? It's not this is not rocket science. It's what we should aid them. They should have recordings, and then that they didn't get, they could play it and just hear it. I know there was a young man in class those days that was doing so well. We didn't know what was his secret. He had a little recording device. So each time he is able to come. How do you get this comprehensive notes? When you now open us, this is what I do. I just drop it there while the lecturer is talking, and the thing, I just sit down and watch and play. And when I get back home, as a student, he knew that. But in an open court, so we see this is a major issue.
Can we do an overhaul of this system? Because lawyers like yourself have talked about automating the court system. Is there a possibility to that end?
Why not? Why not? There is a possibility. You see, it's not just about the courts. It's about the system. That's why I use the word the system.
Has to be an all-embracing.
Yes. Are we willing to change? Are we willing to change to these new ways of doing stuff? I think I heard somewhere, I don't know how true that is, that somewhere in Holland that they are trying to shut down prisons now because there are no inmates there, because I think crime is dropped drastically. It's not about praying. It's about systemic. When you know you are being watched, when you know whatever you are doing, you reduce crime.
Right.
Everybody is being checked. Okay, now when there are no lights in some corners, you don't expect young drunk guys not to rape. You know, they are under the influence of drugs, and some of these young girls coming at this odd hour of the time and now looking at the time and there's no light. What do? And nobody to accept.
There's a chance crimes will be perpetrated.
You get what I'm trying to talk about. So if everywhere is lighted up and everybody seems to get what he or she should get per time,
right,
I don't think we will be in this mess. So in terms of looking at how it now, the judges are already saddled with so much. You have to, because if the judge gives judgment the way I think this guy should be right, the way he's talking. Okay, let me just quickly write. You just be giving.
That's speculation.
That's speculation. So you have to be diligent. So for them to be diligent in the kind of system we are in, they have to read through. They have to take notes. I think the government should help them, to ensure. And then again, the police also, at the investigation level, we also discover also that at times there's an issue over there. They need to be more professional in that aspect.
Law enforcement.
And more in the law enforcement aspect. Now again, lawyers they also contribute. Maybe I'm trying to defend a client.
Right.
I could take come in with some frivolous application. Others are legal games that you could play. Okay, by way of trying to see if negotiation outside the courtroom will work, without put a long adjournment date and try to put in some other things, a counter. You claim that this land is your own, I counter it by way of affidavits and motions and supporting it and bringing up a whole lot of things that the court will be handling. And this person is not happy, that time is running, the judgment is not here. So when that is done, it's a way of dissuading you from continuing. Probably they could negotiate out of court. Which is not a bad idea to negotiate out of court, but I'm trying to say,
as long as we find closure,
yes,
and all parties are satisfied.
Absolutely. So that is it. The court is even happy when you say you want to go settle yourselves, because you've saved them a whole lot of stress. I think that is basically it. So it's not an issue of the court is keeping, or rather not unable, or not unable, it's delaying the procedure is so long. You have to be careful. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with real life situation. You don't have to say, well, let me jump into it. You need to be meticulous. You need to be very thorough, and you need to do the needful. And at the end, you come up with the best position. And even at that, when you are not satisfied, you could go on appeal. And
so
you can see the procedure
escalates within the hierarchy of court.
Yes, and that finally maybe to Supreme Court, which not everybody, all matters in court gets to, because most of the time it ends at the trial court, and everybody is okay with that. They say, well, I don't have money to go all on, I don't want to go on,
I'm done.
I'm done with that. We leave it to God. Yes, you should leave it to God as the case.
I'm sure this is also the point at which we are leaving the program today. But one of the points you have made as very salient is the fact that we must understand that it's a system, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, justice is a system.
It
And
is.
the better we understand that system, the easier it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And you also talked about the fact that members of the public would have to be familiar with the law as much as
Obviously,
possible.
obviously.
And hopefully in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead, we all will take responsibility for our lives.
Yes,
And
yes.
ensure that we do that. Dr. Patrick Awosagi,
Yes.
thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. It's
Appreciate
my pleasure.
it. That's our program for you this week. Thank you everyone for spending part of your day with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I am Wuyi Agmofwegbe. Our coverage on ITV continues.